Have you ever wondered what would actually happen if you mixed castor oil and rosemary and used it for 7 days straight? Maybe you've heard people talking about it, or you've seen it mentioned somewhere and thought, there's got to be something to this, right? Here's what most people don't realize. When you combine these two specific ingredients, something interesting happens in your body at the cellular level, and there's actual science behind why this combination has been used for centuries. What I'm going to share with you today are the specific processes happening beneath your skin that most people never learn about, the exact timeline of what to expect, and the precise way to use this if you decide to try it. Let's get to it. Let's start with something that happens in your body right now that you can't see. Your skin is constantly losing moisture through a process called transepidermal water loss. Every single hour, your skin releases about 10 to 15 grams of water into the air. You can't feel it happening, but over time, this invisible process is what makes your skin look aged and feel rough. Here's what most people don't realize. Castor oil has a unique molecular structure that's different from almost every other oil. It contains something called ricinoleic acid, which makes up about 90% of its composition. This specific fatty acid creates what scientists call an occlusive barrier. What that means is it forms a protective seal over your skin that slows down water loss by up to 70%. When you apply castor oil to your skin, within the first hour, your transepidermal water loss drops significantly. After 3 days of consistent use, your skin's moisture levels can increase by 20 to 30%. The solution here is simple. Mix 2 tablespoons of castor oil with 10 drops of rosemary essential oil. Apply it to clean skin before bed, focusing on areas that feel dry or rough. You'll notice your skin feels different by morning. Now, let's move on to something happening in your scalp right now. Your hair follicles are like tiny factories, and they need 2 things to produce healthy hair: nutrients and oxygen. Both arrive through blood flow. Here's what most people don't know. As you age, the tiny blood vessels feeding your hair follicles can become less efficient. Blood flow to your scalp can decrease by up to 40% between age 30 and age 60. That's why hair becomes thinner and grows more slowly. But here's where it gets interesting. Rosemary contains compounds called diterpenes that have a specific effect on blood vessels. Research from the University of Maryland shows that when rosemary oil is absorbed through the skin, these compounds trigger something called vasodilation. Your blood vessels relax and widen, allowing more blood to flow through. In one study comparing rosemary oil to minoxidil, which is the active ingredient in Rogaine, both groups showed similar improvements after 6 months. We're talking about an average increase in hair count of about 11%. The timeline matters here. In the first 2 weeks, you won't see new hair, but you might notice less hair falling out. By week 6 to 8, you'll start seeing small new hairs at your hairline. The key is mixing 3 tablespoons of castor oil with 20 drops of rosemary essential oil. Massage this into your scalp for 10 minutes twice a week. Leave it on for 1 hour, then shampoo out. The massage itself matters because you're mechanically increasing blood flow while the oils do their work. Next up, here's something that surprises most people about pain relief. When you feel stiffness in your joints or muscles, what you're actually feeling is inflammation at the microscopic level. Your body releases compounds called prostaglandins that signal pain. You can't see this happening, but it's constant. Here's what research shows. The ricinoleic acid in castor oil has a specific anti-inflammatory mechanism. A study published in the Journal of Naturopathic Medicine found that it reduces prostaglandin production by up to 40% when applied topically. Rosemary adds to this effect because it contains carnosic acid and rosmarinic acid, two compounds that have been measured in laboratory studies to reduce inflammatory markers. When you combine them, you're getting a double mechanism. The castor oil penetrates deep into tissues because of its unique molecular size, while rosemary compounds work on surface inflammation. Within 20 to 30 minutes of application, most people report a noticeable decrease in discomfort. After consistent use for 5 to 7 days, inflammation markers in the treated area can drop by up to 35%. Mix 2 tablespoons of castor oil with 15 drops of rosemary oil. Massage into the affected area using circular motions for 5 minutes, then cover with a warm cloth for 20 minutes. The warmth increases absorption by about 40%. Let me show you something about your digestive system that most people never consider. Your intestinal muscles contract in waves to move things along. This is called peristalsis. As you get older, or if you're stressed or dehydrated, these contractions can slow down significantly. Here's what most people don't realize. Castor oil has been recognized by the FDA specifically for its effect on intestinal muscle tissue. When you take 1 to 2 tablespoons orally, the ricinoleic acid binds to specific receptors in your intestinal lining called EP3 receptors. This binding triggers muscle contractions. The effect usually begins within 2 to 6 hours. What's interesting is, the mechanism is very specific. It's not irritating your intestines, it's activating the natural contractile process that should be happening anyway. The standard dose for adults is 1 to 2 tablespoons, taken on an empty stomach. You'll typically see results within 4 to 6 hours. This is something you'd use occasionally, not daily. And it's worth discussing with your doctor if you're on other medications, particularly blood thinners, because castor oil can enhance their effects. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. There's something invisible happening in your brain right now. Your neurons communicate using chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. One of the most important for memory and focus is acetylcholine. As you age, your body produces less of it, and what you do produce breaks down faster. That's part of why memory and concentration can decline. Here's what research from Northumbria University discovered. When people were exposed to rosemary essential oil aroma, they performed measurably better on memory tasks. Specifically, they showed an 18% improvement in memory performance and a 15% improvement in alertness. The researchers measured blood levels and found that a compound called 1,8-cineol from the rosemary had entered the bloodstream through inhalation. This compound appears to inhibit the enzyme that breaks down acetylcholine. More acetylcholine stays available in your brain. The timeline is quick. Effects can be measured within 10 minutes of exposure and last for about 90 minutes. The practical application is simple. Use 3 to 5 drops of rosemary essential oil in a diffuser while you're working or studying. Or keep fresh rosemary nearby and crush a sprig between your fingers every hour or so. Some people notice the difference immediately. Others notice it's easier to concentrate after using it for several days. Let's talk about something else happening on your skin surface that you probably haven't thought about. Right now, your skin is covered with millions of bacteria. Most are harmless, but some can cause issues, especially if you have small breaks in your skin or inflammation. Here's what laboratory studies show. Both castor oil and rosemary have documented antimicrobial properties. Research published in the International Journal of Microbiology found that ricinoleic acid disrupts bacterial cell membranes. Rosemary essential oil showed effectiveness against several common skin bacteria, with studies showing it can reduce bacterial colonies by up to 78% in 24 hours. When you combine them and apply to your skin, you're creating an environment that's less hospitable to problematic bacteria while supporting your skin's natural barrier. This is particularly useful for minor skin irritations or areas prone to breakouts. After consistent use for 3 to 5 days, most people notice reduced redness and faster healing of minor blemishes. Mix 1 tablespoon of castor oil with 8 drops of rosemary oil. Apply a thin layer to affected areas twice daily. You'll typically see improvement within 72 hours. So far, we've covered skin hydration, hair growth, inflammation, digestion, brain function, and bacterial protection. But here's the most surprising part that I haven't told you yet, and it's something that affects almost everyone, but rarely gets talked about. Here's something about the nail health that most people don't connect. Your nails are made of keratin, the same protein as your hair. They grow from the nail matrix, which is hidden under your skin at the base of your nail. This matrix needs nutrients and moisture to produce healthy nail cells. Here's what most people don't realize. When your nails become brittle, yellow, or develop ridges, it's often because the nail matrix isn't getting adequate moisture or blood flow. Fungal infections thrive in this compromised environment. Studies on antifungal properties show that castor oil creates an oxygen-poor environment that fungal organisms can't survive in, while rosemary essential oil has demonstrated direct antifungal activity in laboratory testing, showing effectiveness rates of up to 89% against common nail fungi. When you apply this mixture consistently, you're both suffocating existing fungus and preventing new growth. The challenge with nails is they grow slowly, about 3 millimeters per month for fingernails, so complete renewal takes 3 to 6 months. But you'll see the first signs it's working within 2 to 3 weeks when the discoloration stops spreading and new healthy nail starts growing from the base. Mix 1 tablespoon of castor oil with 8 drops of rosemary oil. Apply to affected nails and massage into the cuticle area twice daily. Be patient and consistent. The key is not stopping too early. Next, let's talk about circulation, because this is something invisible but crucial. Right now, blood is flowing through thousands of miles of blood vessels in your body. In your extremities, hands, and feet, the vessels are smallest. These tiny capillaries can become less efficient over time, especially with age or certain health conditions. Here's what happens. When blood flow decreases, you might notice cold hands and feet, slow healing, or that pins and needles sensation. Research shows that compounds in rosemary, particularly the diterpenes I mentioned earlier, cause vasodilation. Your blood vessels relax and expand. One study measured an increase in peripheral blood flow of up to 22% after topical application of rosemary oil. The mechanical action of massage adds to this. When you massage from your extremities toward your heart, you're manually helping to move blood and lymph fluid. The combination creates a measurable effect. Most people notice increased warmth within 5 to 10 minutes of application. After consistent daily use for 1 week, chronic coldness in hands and feet typically improves noticeably. Mix 2 tablespoons of castor oil with 12 drops of rosemary oil. Start at your toes or fingers and massage upward toward your heart. Spend about 10 minutes total, 5 minutes per limb. The key is the direction, always toward your heart, following your natural circulation pattern. Here's one more thing about your largest organ that you might not have considered. Your skin regenerates itself completely about every 28 days. Every day, you shed about 30 to 40,000 dead skin cells. New cells are constantly being produced in the deeper layers and moving up to the surface. Here's what most people don't realize. This regeneration process requires specific fatty acids and nutrients. As you age, your skin's ability to retain moisture and produce healthy new cells decreases. Castor oil provides omega-9 fatty acids that are similar to the natural oils your skin produces. When you apply it consistently, you're essentially supplementing what your skin needs for healthy cell production. Rosemary contributes antioxidants, particularly carnosic acid, which research shows can protect skin cells from oxidative damage. The effect is cumulative. In the first week, you'll notice improved moisture and texture. By week 3 to 4, as your skin completes a full regeneration cycle with this supplementation, many people notice a visible improvement in skin tone and reduction in fine lines. Mix 2 tablespoons of castor oil with 10 drops of rosemary oil for body use. For facial use, cut that in half. Apply to damp skin after showering to lock in moisture. The timing matters because damp skin absorbs oils up to 300% better than dry skin. So now you know what's actually happening when you combine castor oil and rosemary. These aren't miracle cures, but they're working on real, measurable processes in your body. You're affecting transepidermal water loss, increasing blood flow to hair follicles and extremities, reducing inflammatory markers, supporting your skin's regeneration cycle, and inhibiting bacterial and fungal growth. The key is understanding the timeline and being consistent. Some effects, like increased warmth or reduced discomfort, happen within minutes to hours. Others, like hair growth or nail renewal, take weeks to months because that's how long those biological processes naturally take. Use the specific ratios I mentioned. Always dilute rosemary essential oil properly and do a patch test before widespread use. And remember, if you have ongoing health concerns, work with your healthcare provider. These approaches can be part of your self-care routine alongside whatever else you're doing for your health. You now have information most people don't know about what's really happening beneath your skin. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss more information like this. Share this with someone who could benefit from knowing what these ingredients actually do. Take care of yourself, and thanks for watching.